Okay, so this, this is just so eye-opening. And so I'm just thinking about young people, right, who may have co-occurring disorders, right? They're depressed, and so they're using marijuana or some other substance to cope. And then you talked about how marijuana with impulse and also motivation, how it, and so now they're flunking out of school because they don't want to get up, they don't want to go to class, so then they're flunked. And then they go back to, being depressed and ashamed. So now what do? You go back to the substance. So how do you even begin to step into a cycle like that seems like it's just, cycling around again and again? What do you do? How do you step in?
You step in with love. you let them know, look, I love you. I'm just trying to help. I'm just trying to support you. And I therefore have these referrals to offer you. But I just don't want youth ministers to think that they have to be the superhero here, run in and rescue things. That's another thing that they don't talk about in a lot of these superhero movies. Superheroes cause a lot of collateral damage. There's a lot of damage that goes on if you go in there smashing up the enemy and that this is going to be, this is how we're going to fix this. But if you come with the humble servant approach, I'm just here to serve. I'm just here to help. This is what I'm offering you. You can choose to take it or not, but it's here. And it's my job as a youth minister, out of love, to hold it for you here. As I said earlier, I'm not imposing it, but I'm certainly not hiding it or holding it back. I am doing the work to have it available. I'm getting the education I need, the work I need to do to have those referrals ready so that I can offer them to you at this time in your life, right?
Right.
I think that's a wonderful attitude for a youth minister to have. Jesus did the saving,
That's right.
I'm just a disciple. I'm just here to show that to share the work that's done in me and create a greater work in you.
Yeah, and so I think what you're talking about in terms of having resources to offer points to the importance of youth ministers knowing what is in their community, what's available to them that they can offer for young people who need some serious kinds of help. So almost every community these days has some 12-step group that can be a support network for folks who are trying to get into recovery, who are struggling with their abuse of a substance. Many of the 12-step groups have groups that are specifically by and for young people. And so a youth minister would do well to find out where those are. One way that youth ministers can do that is by checking online, find out the AA groups, the NA groups in the area. Find one that is an open group. That means you can go there whether or not you are actually in recovery from addiction yourself. You could go there and just experience a meeting and see what it's like and understand it a little bit. And then you would know what you're inviting a young person to do. And it's a lot easier. You could go with a young person to a meeting. That would be a good supportive thing. Let's just check this out. I know there are people who are struggling with this same issue. I'd be happy to go with you. Let's just go check it out together. That's a really good way to step in if you have that kind of rapport and relationship with the young person where you're communicating that you are walking alongside them in this and not judging them for what is happening to them, but you're noticing that it's a problem and that they cannot live in joy and flourishing and be abusing this substance and it having the effects that it has, but you're willing to walk alongside them and to help them find ways to a more abundant, fuller life. Also to know what some of the medical resources are. Okay,
Tons of it out there.
Who's working in youth substance abuse, in medicine, in therapy, all these kinds of resources that we might want. Who are the good counselors in this area? Having a referral network so that when somebody needs it, you don't have to go look for it then. It's already in your back pocket and you can pull that out.
Part of your preparation.
Yep, that's right. Is there a a substance abuse treatment program somewhere near that specializes in youth and young adults, that knows how to help young people specific to the things that they are dealing with developmentally as young people involved in substance abuse and addiction. So those kind of larger referral issues are one aspect of it. Another way that youth ministers can really step into the middle of this is by being sensitive to assessing what's going on, to pay attention and watch.
Being present.
That's right. And present enough to see the cluster of signals that may happen. So the change in the school performance. Did this young person have a group of friends and suddenly we're seeing that they're hanging out with a whole different group of folks? Have they stopped coming to the youth group? You know, one of the quickest signals, this is true for adults too, who are involved in the church, that addiction is becoming a problem, is they stop showing up. Part of that's because church has in the past been part of the problem with addiction, by condemning people, by judging people, by treating addiction as a moral failing,
Cutting them off.
instead of as a brain disease, a brain disorder that people have to wrestle with. We know that so much of what makes one person prone to addiction and another person not is heredity. It's genetic. It's stuff we don't have any control over. This is not a moral failing. And it's not for kids either. And so youth ministers can act in ways that say, I'm noticing that you're not here. You used to be here most Sunday nights. You're not here. What's going on? We miss you here. Not just let that person disappear into the sunset unnoticed. Pay attention to that. Paying attention to other signs and signals that things are changing for that young person. Again, it might be that the home environment is unhappy right now. It might not be about substance, but it might be. So paying attention to the cluster of signs.